and my name is Gian Robberts, and today we have Mike McDonald with us on the topic of when men say, I don't care. So today we're just going to explore what is behind the words I don't care, or the sounding of when we say I don't care. And also how we have pushed through certain points, found solutions for ourselves, investigated the point for ourselves. And Mike is going to share with us as a male and how he has in his life experienced saying the words I don't care, and what he has seen as behind those words. Does he really not care, or does he actually care? Maybe everything is in reverse. We don't know. All right. So Mike, can you give us a example in your life of how you have lived or expressed the words I don't care, and what you have found is behind those words?
Yes. It became, well, okay, let me just put it very simplistically here. When you say I don't care, what really it means is like that you so fucking do care. And it's kind of like, it comes out, like the extent of the care really comes out in the sounds behind how you say I don't care. Like it usually really indicates like the emotional undertones on the point. And, so for myself, in recognizing this point, I mean, it came out through discussions with a friend like a number of years ago, where we get talking about some things and some personal points will come up, in regards to family or like, other situations. And the common like line kept coming out of like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like so much so. And I was like, wow, my friend's really saying this a lot. It through like talking with him more and more, it was like, yo, and I said it to him, I was like, yo, you so fucking do care. Whenever you say that, you're basically telling me that really there's some real shit here and you don't know how to deal with it. And so it's just like, fuck, it's too much to talk about. So, that's the best way I can express myself with it. And in me saying that to him, it was kind of like, holy shit, man. Like, oh, like we just kind of opened Pandora's box on that. And from that point, like onward, for myself, I would catch myself in different moments saying that at different times. And from then on there for myself, it was kind of like, oh shit, like here's another point that I've been kind of suppressing or whatnot. And there's various ways in which that point for myself I would suppress it on, like, let's say in a relationship, girlfriend, where it'd be like, how come like you won't make the bed or whatever? And I'd be like, oh, I don't care, like you do it, do you care or whatever? And it would just be like me basically not even wanting to look at the regard for the bed. It's like being vulnerable on the point that like, you know what? Yeah, I really do like it when the bed's made. It is enjoyable to get into the bed after it's been freshly made, and the sheets have been changed regularly and all those things. And the fact that like I had just kind of been lazy about it and negating it because sometimes maybe I wasn't like responsible in organizing my time. So I'd get up in a rush and it'd just be like, oh, I don't have time to take care of this or that. And so it would be like points of neglect. But that's like a simple, like little example of just like a seemingly, minimal like task, but it reflects like so much about like our personal relationship within, our relationships with the things in our environment, whether it be, like the bed, like an inanimate object, arguably, or something bigger. And that's it's a little bit of my reflection on the point.
Yeah,
It
so
just go ahead.
what I've also experienced myself with the words I don't care is, let's say, for example, I'm in my room, right? And my wife is also in the room. And she comes to me and she has this idea for putting up a little shelf, on the wall, and what we can put on the shelf, and how it can help making space. And then I would start saying, but we have enough space, we have enough stuff, and I don't know why you want that shelf up. you know. Now I already know it's going to require my effort, you know, to put up the shelf. So
Totally.
for me to avoid putting up the shelf, I would use the argument of, you know what, I actually don't care.
Yeah, you do it all,
If
whatever you
you want the
want.
shelf up, then you get it done. You
Yeah.
find a way. But I really don't see it necessary. I really don't see why we need that little shelf up on there. But yeah, so when we look at the words "I don't care," it comes also in how we speak to another person. It's not necessarily we're saying the words "I don't care." The words "I don't care" usually comes up either as a reaction or as a way to defend ourselves and our own reasons and justifications for why that "I don't care" comes up. So another example is when I say to my wife or to someone else, "I don't care," I usually lay in my bed at night and I go, why is everyone else making decisions around here? You know, why don't I have a say in what's happening around here? But meantime, when I trace my words back, my day, I can see that I said in those moments, "I don't care." And so my reality is starting to manifest in a way where I feel excluded from the developments or what people are doing in my environment, and I start excluding myself more and more by just saying, "I don't care, I don't care." And it's a way where I keep myself hard, I keep myself minimal maintenance, meaning the less I care, the less I feel like I need to be maintained by other people or that I have a maintenance to people. You know, because, oh, look, Gian doesn't care. So, you know, don't even ask him, don't even go to him. You know,
Yeah.
we just arrange things without him now. So people start excluding you from their realities as well because of the words "I don't care" and how much they've come up. You know, this is how I have experienced "I don't care." And it's on simple little things in your relationship, for example. If you keep saying to your wife or your wife keeps saying to you, "I don't care," when there's obviously communication needed on certain points, you know, that's decisions that's involving your life, then we later on take it out on each other, like say, "Yeah, but look how much I've allowed you to do what you want to do. Why don't you allow me to do what I want to do? Why don't you not care? Why don't you just not care?" You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's like this whole thing behind "I don't care" and how we and what we attach behind it in a secret way. What is our agendas behind the words "I don't care"? What is it that we're seeking? So that's where I have gone for myself with looking at the words "I don't care." And how did I help myself? For example, if my wife comes to me now and it's about something small, you know, like, can we, you know, put a carpet in the room for this and this reason? Instead of saying, you know, "I don't care, you decide," I say, okay, let's look at what carpet do we want. You know, now I'm even going
Right.
deeper into, you know,
Yeah.
the point into reverse. Now I'm involved with my partner going into what carpet do we want? How's it gonna fit the room? Okay, what kind of carpet? Must be thick, thin, you know, where are we gonna place it? And once we've done that, I feel involved. I feel like, wow, we've made this decision together because I allowed myself to be creative. I allowed myself to express myself. Even though it looked
Yeah.
a little bit feminish, you know, like I'm focusing on buying a freaking carpet, which is something that I, as a guy, have defined as a woman's job or, you know, someone else's work to do, not mine.
Right.
Also, it's to keep the wife happy or to keep the partner happy or to keep the people in your environment happy is if they can make all the decisions and you just keep excluding yourself. And
To-
this is not the way to go because you become this sour, left out, angry, frustrated person later on in life that feels like life doesn't care about you.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, and I've noticed that for myself as well, where we're taking on like that point, well, or neglecting that point of, you know, caring and just saying like, I don't care. It really being, yeah, that point of passing like the buck as just avoiding some sort of labor, whether, you know, it just be having a conversation and like a willingness to look and be like, you know, what do you think is cool here? Like, how would that be cool in a way that's awesome?
Yeah,
And just like not even, you know, to me it reflect also just kind of like it being like an accumulation of shit that's already built up within me that creates that sort of like outflow. So in a way, in catching yourself saying that, it really is like an opportunity to be like, you know, wait a second here, like how would I care about this point? Because I notice so often when we say statements with like the not in it, like an emphasis on not this, not that, is that, you know, we're so fucking knotted in that point, and we're like not seeing it, like saying, you know, to emphasize that you're so not something, you so fucking are it.
Yeah.
It's so funny because otherwise why would you say you're not, you know? Because it's just like nobody like assumes anything really unless you give reason for assumption, kind of thing. Like you kind of create it for yourself, and by like creating this resistance about something by deliberately going out of your way to say you're not, well, you know, it really exposes that you so are like enthralled within that point in some way or another. And yeah, so for myself, what I found also too is like that consequential outflow of like relationship patterns, and me saying that, you know, like I don't care, I don't care, and then seeing like the outflow that, well, I could have like participated in this process here that I was given ample opportunity and actually in fact encouraged to participate within, that there was parts, you know, points within me that would have liked to actually, you know, be a part of this and share my creative flair, if you will, on that, and bring my expression into the room, whether it's like in, you know, my decorating advice or, you know, my color considerations, like all these points, like you say, that are like so much so regarded as like the feminine things and not masculine. I mean, it's really comical in so many ways because, you know, it's like defining our words as being masculine or feminine, and then creating our identity perception on that as like, oh, you know, that's a girl's thing or whatever. Like, I'm a guy. I can't even have a conversation about that because that's not in my vocabulary as how I've defined it. And so,
And then 10 years down the line, your wife's
yeah,
like, oh, he's such a lazy asshole.
yeah, exactly. So then that just, you know, creates this like continuous buildup on both sides of it's like building your ammo against each other as like, well, you know, you're this or you don't do this, or well, I let you do this, so like how come you won't let me do this? And it's just, it builds the resistance because basically accepting and allowing a resistance to like really engage one another and take like basically responsibility and to like allow oneself to enjoy the sharings in each other's world as like the different points. Like maybe, you know, in fact, your partner, your wife, whoever in your relationship, your brother, your sister, your mom, your friend, is more interested in something. Like they have a particular hobby or interest, but they, you know, they open up and they want to talk to you about it. You know, like by, let's say, just going there or having the reaction come up, oh, I'm not interested in this, or I, you know, I don't like that. Like those are kind of telltale signs of like you're closing yourself off from connecting with another in a point where somebody's like opening up and trusting in you to be vulnerable about something. And what I found personally is in allowing yourself to engage these points, that, you know, new opportunities open up for yourself and new connections are forged between the two of you also, that really creates awesome gifts, potential sharings that, you know, are so awesome in so many ways that are not able to be seen otherwise until you just kind of go into it and, you know, play it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what I've also, through hearing your example right now, what you've given, I'm actually seeing a lot of points as you were speaking. I saw that we actually have developed behavior that is I don't care. So it's not necessarily anymore speaking or expressing. It's now just behavior.
Like an
You know,
attitude.
like you automatically see something and just behave in a way of I don't care. And you don't
Yeah.
even you don't even realize the consequences of that because, for example, let's say something happens in your environment. You have programmed and patterned yourself in such an automatic way that you immediately just don't care. You know, so if something
That
happens and you need to take responsibility for it, you're like, I don't care. Okay, just walk on by. I don't know what's happening here.
Well, that's kind of the like the tragic comedy of that all is that when you're like so in it as it, you don't even realize like how automated the defense systems are playing out in you because like you're so entrenched as it that you know, to even point it out sometimes to someone if it's like you're blunt about it, that just puts off like another system where, you know, the seemingly response, and you know, I've done it obviously myself, where you're kind of like dumb to the point where it's just like what like no like because
So
it's
basically,
almost
through not caring, you haven't empowered yourself to build the knowledge
yeah,
to know. So I don't care also becomes a point of I don't know, meaning
big time.
you've been disempowering yourself to such an extent where you'll never know and you can just keep on giving responsibility away. Because as long as you don't care, you don't have responsibility.
Yeah, which kind of goes back just if we look at even that word responsibility so much. Like I identify with that word a lot, and especially my initial relationship toward that word, where it was like, whoa, okay, like responsibility is something you want to avoid if you want to have any like freedom and ability to have like fun and do the things you want in this world. Not realizing that you're closing yourself off from so many fun things in so many different ways that are coming to you as like gifts and opportunities all the time as the relationships that are here to coexist with and, you know, create real harmonies. But by being like, you know, sequestered, if you will, as like just this one single-minded like way outlook that's based on really separating everything else, you miss so much.
Yeah, so if we look at responsibility, I don't know if you've seen the previous hangout I did
I
also
have not seen it.
on responsibility and
Okay.
how we come to the word there is your ability to respond. It's very simple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
And
like that too.
if your partner or someone in your reality comes to you and they say something to you or they ask something of you, instead of saying I don't care, you look at what is my ability to respond. Your ability is either at that moment to be able to listen or to direct the point or to get
Yeah.
external help, or you can take actual action, you know, within supporting the person and doing whatever they're requesting or looking at whatever they want to look at. And this is how we grow our or expand our responsibility in ourselves by taking part in things instead of saying, I don't care. And
I
what point came up for me was a very good example with my partner
yeah.
is she really enjoys working with horses and working with her process with horses because horses are a very good feedback to where you are standing within your stability and directiveness. Now, she has been facing a lot of her internal points and she's grown a lot over the years working with horses. But initially, I had no desire to work with horses or to do anything with horses. You know, that was just my approach inside myself. I
Right.
saw, you know, working with horses is just a fun thing. It's just a thing that you do. So she
Yeah.
would be talking about the horses and how she's faced herself and how she's changed and her process and the horses direct feedback to her process. And I would sit in the chair, for example, and she would start talking, and I would just go into this mode of like,
Yeah.
I don't care. In the back of my
Yeah.
mind, it goes, I
Like
don't care, but
it's
I'll listen.
yeah, like hurry it up already. Like let's
Yeah.
just get through it.
And what I've realized is that, well, when I realized that I was doing this, I took the point to myself and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing here? This is actually very nasty. You know, this
Big
is
time.
actually not nice. If I have to be in my partner's position right now, I would not have enjoyed speaking to myself. You know, I would have not liked to be taken that way by my partner. So what did I do? I first of all, I changed my body behavior, my physical behavior. And what I did instead is I started asking questions. I would start seeing what it is that my partner is seeing, what they're walking. And fascinating enough, just by caring, just by taking that point of caring, I started walking my process one and equal to her, and I learned so much just through listening. So I did not have to go and work with horses. I'm learning through my partner what she has learned through horses. So this way, inside myself, I've started finding that stability, that directiveness, just because of how she's sharing her process, her story with working with a horse. But as long as I was
Nice.
sitting back in my chair, you know, not caring and just listening and just like, okay, this is just for you to get it out. I was abdicating my own self-development to such an extent that I was just accepting allowing myself to remain this like a couch potato or whatever you want to call it, like, you know,
Yeah.
just something that sits and watch things go by and don't care. So that's a cool example for myself on how I have faced standing up from the point of I don't care and to actually interact, to take that step practically to change my behavior and then to change what's happening inside myself, to stop those secret thoughts, those back chat points, and to actually correct them in the physical. And this has been a pretty cool process just to observe with any other person as well in my reality. And sometimes I find it quite interesting how busy your world becomes just by stopping the point of saying I don't care and start embracing the point of I'm here, I'm responsible, let me
Oh
listen,
yeah.
let me
Oh
stand.
yeah. Because all of a sudden there's so much to see, so much to look at. It's like, you know, by being like that couch potato mentality, like the stone wall or whatever, you're like there, but you're not really looking at anything. It's like everything's there in plain sight, but you're not seeing any of it because of the attitude about it. So it's just like looking but not seeing anything to all of a sudden realizing like, holy shit, like I'm noticing this, I'm
Yeah,
noticing that, I'm connecting this with that. Oh my God, I never considered that. Everybody becomes like a book that you're not well read in, and so it's like everybody has awesome points to share, and if you allow people to share with you what they would like to share, there's so many things that we can hear by just allowing ourselves to listen. And that's been an awesome point for myself too in communication, and realizing that there's so much to learn from anyone, like that everybody has value here, has something to say. It's just a matter of like creating that safe space, if you will, comfortability, to allow a person to open up and express those points. And that if you're willing to really listen and like hear, then you give back feedback, as kind of like this conversation with you and me is going. It's kind of like a real complementary exchange, like a real best case scenario, as like, well, that's awesome. Okay, well, that's awesome. Ah, interesting. Like, and it's just like a constant feedback of like, well, here you go. That's great. Here you go. And it just keeps going. And in a way, what I found so much in engaging in that way is that, the conversations to an extent are like endless in their potential for development. I mean, there's always, time restraints on like how much you can talk about one point with a particular person, or that moves and outflows into something new because it's expanding in development and potential. But basically, it really, to me, showcases the point, like the epitome, the epicenter, if you will, of creation, so much so, and just like coexisting with one another and being complementary in our relationships here.
yeah. I really like the point that you said that everyone is like a book,
Yeah.
and how how it is actually that way because the words come out of us,
Yeah.
and we don't have to necessarily read it from another person.
Big time. It's like you get to synthesize it. Like everybody's like the music maker, and so everybody's a synthesizer, and they're giving you like, his story as the history, or her story as her story. It's funny,
So,
man. It's
so Mike,
yeah.
now that we've come this far into the chat already, I would like to know if you have any ways, have you walked past any of the points for yourself regarding I don't care to realizing I care? Do you have a specific example of how you've walked one of those
Ye-
points?
Yes. Okay, I guess to give it like a holistic perspective, because for me in my process here, I find like in my expression, the words are integral. So it's like really about establishing clarity with like the specifics of my words, because I find like how I exist in relationship to those words inside me determines the reality outside of me, as like how I'll participate in my relationships. So like you mentioned the point of responsibility earlier. Like that to me is so much so like a starting point for me in so many ways in everything I do, and reflecting it back to myself. So self-responsibility. And I agree with like the definition you have. Like I also deducted that as well, like the responsibility. But I also connected it to the word like, you know, turn, because it's like your ability to move, respond in different ways. So it's like, you know, your turn, your ability to move and respond in those ways. And I connected it with like the word pivot. Like a pivot is basically your ability to turn, move around in particular ways. And a pivot can be, you know, it has the potential to be 360. Like you can
Sounds
pivot
like
like a whole.
skateboarding.
Yeah, exactly. Pivot. Yeah, I got it from my like relationship with skiing and
Yeah,
snowboarding and
that's why.
hockey. Yeah, hockey, different things like that. But it's the same point within whatever sport or like movement is the fact that we can do a spin. And you know, so often we put a spin on the information that we're working with, where it's, you know, it's sided, like we're on this side of the coin or this side of the coin. But when you consider like, you know, the whole of it all, it's like 360 degrees around, or you know, you could keep going around or whatever, but basically considering like all the points on the clock kind of thing, like the different angles, perspectives. And so with giving those considerations and like attaching them to that core word responsibility, it really like allows me to assess my like options and opportunities in a moment as it comes up, of like, you know, how would I like to proceed in this moment here,
Okay.
and basically like play with it to an extent that, you know, it's, you could say it's a work, but it really, you know, it feels more like a play, like it's a working play. Like I'm the writer of the script, which is the story, which is me here. And, you know, because of my like effectiveness and specificness with my word relationships here, you know, I can direct the show, which is me. Obviously, each of us is the director of our own show here, and we're, you know, co-starring together, as it's always like a, you know, a comedy or whatever, a drama, depending on the situations that are unfolding. But yeah, I really enjoy like to play and joke around and have fun with things. And I realize that, you know, for me to really have fun with it, it's about being in harmony in the relationships that I'm engaging with. And that a new point that I actually added on to this like core that I've developed for myself was like a quote and saying that there are no enemies, there are only opportunities. So, you
Okay.
know, that really bodes well with anytime, you know, there's like a moment of friction in your engagement with another or something. It really goes back to like this saying from the rapper Ice Cube. It's like, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like really that simple. Is just in you know, doing the accounting, because in a way, so many ways, your words are money. You know, like basically whether, you know, you're paying yourself in a good way with like basically it's like your vocabulary and your own personal definitions and how you can use it to like the best ways possible.
Your own currency.
Yeah, exactly, because it, you know, that is, it's like your energy that you invest into those things, and it's,
And you determine your currency through the definitions of your words.
yeah, exactly. And you know, ironically, like you say with the currency and all that thing, like, you know, it's all about buying and selling. But if, you know, you create the terms of your own agreements here as like the word body foundation, you see that everything you engage in is just a matter of words, and it moves on from being like a war of words to, you know, a self-expression with the words, where, you know, it's kind of like a good example I think of that is like Neo in the Matrix, where, you know, the Agent Smiths are always like on him or whatever, coming at him with different problems, if you will, because they're very much, you know, in conflict, friction. But it becomes to a point where he just takes them all on. It's like, yeah, that's you as me in another life, and it becomes like a bibbity bobbity boo, like, you know, here, da, 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 da. Like you can just move things around however you want. because it's so easy, because it's just a play here, and we're just playing, working with it. And if we take responsibility, that's the real empowerment, because like, you know, you're basically taking ownership, authority, like as the author of why it is so, because you know,
So,
we create it.
so Mike, basically what you're getting down to is that from the point of I don't care to taking
Everything.
authority as the author of your life,
Yeah.
be empowered by your own words. So when
Yeah.
those moments of I don't care come up, you instead live responsibility. You instead take a different word, and you instead write your own story from there on, instead of just allowing things to happen to you. Or
Big time. Like it's such now, like if the words I don't care come up in me in a moment, it's like this crazy siren going off, to the extent of like warning, warning, like, or here's a point. I maybe more like opportunity, opportunity. You know, you have a gift is being presented to you. The other is like the messenger showcasing you something you could not see, and it's been pulled out of you like a root uprooted. And now is the opportunity to, you know, cement the foundation, like fix
so,
the crack in the bricks,
so
if you
let's
will.
let's look at the word care. What do you
All
see
right.
with care?
Care?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much to see in the word care. I
But you
mean,
see that
it's
the
like,
word see is in care. See,
yeah, yeah, see our. Our sounds like our, and when we consider like what is ours here, you know, it's like all for one for all kind of thing. Like, so it's
care.
there's that regard, and when you take that regard for yourself and really, you know, commit to embodying that in yourself, as like everything exists within me, as that's what I'm able to see outside of me. And it starts with like the word recognition and accountability and checking those relationships, that that care, that regard opens up as everything here. And it's, I mean, that to me is what I'm kind of busy on a daily basis with, playing with, like working with, like writing, you know, laughing with, because it's a constant like like,
Comedy.
oh, like, yeah, man, because it's like I didn't see that before. And not seeing shit that's so cool is like, it's tragic in so many ways. So it's just like,
A tragic
okay,
comedy.
well, yeah, so it's like a constant like,
Are
ha
you
ha,
like?
hooray.
Are you looking at like? I don't know if you know Manhattan. What is it called? The Watchers or something. Where is the comedian?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And it's kind of like prolifically profound in so many ways, because yeah, the comedian is like the sensitive guy who really sees the truth core of like everything here, there, but you know, maybe he's like, his appearance is rugged, or he's got his points that were his hard points, but it's yeah, definitely. It's an awesome
Yeah,
story.
so care can be like CR. We must see that we are the ocean, the sea, and that everything that is here is me. You know, you cannot really separate the ocean from itself. You can take a drop out of it, but it's still part of the ocean. It's still a drop of water. And if we take on the point of care, we must realize that doesn't matter what comes our way in this world, it is our point. It is for us to care about. It's not to say, I don't care. And if we keep on saying, I don't care, we keep trying to separate ourselves like a water drop from the ocean. But in the end, you're going to return back to the ocean and you're going to face your shit anyway.
Well, that's the funny thing, like, about it, man. It's like, in a way, it's almost like you really want to embody the point of laziness in a way, because not wanting to create more work for yourself. So it's like, you know, actually look at it and take responsibility for the work here for real, because in taking on that point of like, I don't care, you're really just creating like more stress on your back, more work for yourself to eventually do eventually, where it's like this procrastination point that just continuously builds. So like, in a way, you know, because that's funny, because so often people say like, well, you know, I'm just lazy, or that's why I don't care. But that's really bullshit, because if you were lazy, you'd not want to actually have to do real work. You wouldn't keep piling on work that you have to do,
Do you
because
see in
there's
the word
no,
lazy? It's got the word see again. So you're
Yeah.
laying in the sea instead of being part of the sea. So you're not caring. You're like, I'm not part of this. You're just sitting in the water. You know, until that wave comes and hits you.
Yeah, oh, it's funny, man.
But lazy
It's
is
so
an extreme form of self-judgment, of how you judge yourself and participating in the
right.
world. And then we get back to the word responsibility.
Yeah.
When you have not defined, when a person has not defined themselves within their own abilities and being honest about their own abilities, then to respond becomes impossible because you've judged your abilities so much that to respond has become in your mind impossible. You know, like, I'm not good at being creative. I just suck ass. I don't know how to do that. I don't
Which
care. I don't care. I don't care.
which is so funny because it's I mean it's so ridiculous because it's like taking on that point of being like the ultimate point of lame and just like living that to the fullest, like being like Dr. Lame. And you know, you're like justifying it, making sense of it in your own layman terms. Hear the lay or the lame in layman terms as like how you've defined your own self definitions. And it's funny because you know, lame, it's like fear of being lame. So then you obviously become so lame.
And
And
then you
this whole
blame.
like, no, no. Yeah, yeah. And then you blame, say it's because of this, because of that, you know, reason it, justify it, tie it together with your
The words are playing
justification.
very nicely in this one
In
word.
this hangout, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Just,
from
yeah, it's
caring,
just,
from the word care to responsibility to lame to blame to laziness.
it's funny because it's always here like as that, and you know we're always like the music maker, the sound synthesizer, however you want to like say it. So as you know, the saying so is like the sewing of it together is how you know make it, create it, bake the cake, whatever as your recipe. The words are like the ingredients. And so it's always like working with what's here, you know. And it's funny because as simple as we can add ingredients to like a potion or a recipe or whatever it is, like just as what's here in the moment, we can also like go back as like you've showcased so many times in being like, well, let's look at that word here, like that ingredient, that thing here. Let's see the relations within it. Like what are the dynamics here? Like how is this connected? How does this outflow?
Yeah.
And then from there it's like, well, you know, maybe we should pull that out, like, and then go back to this, and then maybe we should restructure the formula. And you know that kind of ties in with the whole like back to our whole starting point here. Well, I don't care because it goes, you know, it's like going back and forth so
Yeah.
much
So let me give you an example. Bernard once asked me, "Did you see that?" And I said, "No, I saw it." Yeah. And he said, "No, I'm asking, did you see it?" And I was like, "No, I saw it, yes, but I didn't actually see it." And he's like, "So you're just on a seesaw, you know?" And you know, it's a seesaw. It's one of those swings that you have. And he's like, "So you're living in a seesaw. You just see and saw. You just see and saw. You know, you don't ever take responsibility. You don't ever act. You know, you just go into that I don't care because you see, and then you can say I saw. You know, yeah, I see, I saw. Okay, cool. So that's what your life becomes: is seeing and sawing. So you're on this consistent seesaw, which is your life, meaning you never actually stand up and take responsibility and take action for what you're seeing. So it always becomes a saw. You know, as soon as something becomes a saw, you must know you did not act because you see, but then you saw. So now you're just on this consistent seesaw, and this becomes I don't care anymore. You know, I can see it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I see the point. Yeah, saw the point. Oh, yeah. It's like, I mean, an extreme example would be, you know, like, oh, yeah, like I saw the person. I mean, I was looking at the person coming out into the traffic and I saw the car coming. And yeah, I was there and I could have, I guess, actually responded, you know,
Ah,
been exercise my like self responsibility to move in that moment, but I was just kind of focused on watching the show of
the
like my
seesaw.
seesaw, yeah. And so it's like, yeah, you forget to like move. It's funny because it's like you know, the way like our mind consciousness system exists so much so like entrenched with like our word relationships is that we're constantly like stoned, you know, like the experience of somebody who's high in a way. And you know, in that high experience, it's just, there's that delayness that you're just kind of like, you know, the couch potato or whatever, or maybe you're moving around or you're so active, but you're in this high that you're just kind of like observing passively and not directly engaged, because all the shit that comes up with that of fear, essentially,
Yeah.
just different worlds of fear.
So you're on a
And,
seesaw.
and yeah,
You know,
yeah, like
when you're in a seesaw, you have this moment of fear when you go very high, and then you have a moment of relaxing when you go back. And then when
yeah,
you go very high, you have like an anxious moment. And it keeps, you know, going up and down, up and down. And it's entertaining.
It's funny because it's kind of like peekaboo. Like, okay, like I'm looking, okay, or not looking, like, oh shit, saw it, scared, like, oh, back, oh shit, what's next? Like, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see with the I don't care, there's many, many dimensions to it.
Oh yeah.
But just to ground the point again,
yeah,
we are going to look at, we've already looked at quite some examples for males. Obviously, this chat is specifically for me and Mike, and where we're two guys, obviously sharing our side of I don't care. Females, women obviously have the same point. No one is excluded from any point in this world. We all participate in a different way towards the same points. For example, females can go, you know, I don't care, my husband can watch sports all day. I don't care, I'll do the dishes. I don't care, I'll clean the room. You know, that's a two-way streak, a two-way play, because each one becomes an embodiment of I don't care for what the other is doing. I'm accepting this person as they are because I love them. You know, I'm accepting their creative or non-creative abilities because I love them for who they are. I married them, or I went into a relationship with them, or I'm living with them because of who they are. So once again, the I don't care is actually so extensive. You know, if you look at both sides of how males and females are participating in this point. Now, if we actually come to the point of admitting to ourselves, you know what, I fucking care, and we're gonna talk about that vase that's over there, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't want it on the corner of that table. It looks dangerous, and I don't like the shape of it. The plants just don't fit in it. So can we maybe place somewhere else where it fits and get a different vase? You know, just a suggestion, and then the other person can respond back, and then you have a constructive, harmonious moment of communicating, instead of it at some other point in your life bursting out, where all the back chat and all the thoughts that was happening and all those moments where you said I don't care comes out, and then you have conflict, a lot of conflict, and you keep fighting and arguing, and this is how your relationships develop over 10, 20, 30 years, until it becomes so much you just literally don't care anymore, and you become this stagnant, non-moving being that has just given up on themselves, on their life situation, because you didn't care. I don't care. And you just accept and allow everyone in your reality plus yourself to remain the same. So we have to step out from I don't care to just embracing that small point inside yourself of I do care. Not caring as a self-righteous, or not, you know, saying I care as a being the right one, saying this is why I don't care, and rah 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 rah. You know, it must be a point of I do care to share myself, to express myself, and to be able to come to a common ground of common sense and practicality, where we can be creative together, where we can explore things together, and where both is always included in the caring and the intimacy. So whenever the point of I don't care comes up inside of yourself, take a breath, let a red flag come up, and say, wait, why am I in this I don't care behavior, back chat, or actually speaking it? Okay, what is the emotions and feelings? Why am I suppressing myself? You must really investigate the moment of when those words are being lived or coming up inside yourself or being spoken. I don't care. Maybe you don't know. If you don't know something, that's when you say, I actually do care, I just don't know. That's where you start communicating. That's where you start speaking. That's where you start opening up, so that you can know and empower yourself for next time to have the tools in your toolbox so that you're equipped and say, okay, this is what I've learned from previous time. Now, let me see if I can apply myself differently. You know, upgrade yourself, express yourself, develop yourself. But as long as we stay in the I don't care mood, you're going to become an I don't care living being, which is pretty, very
Awful.
awful. Yeah. So it is now 2:45, and if there is anyone watching or anyone that is here right now, please give your moments that you've had in your life. I don't care. You can leave it in the comment box, or you can leave it in the questions and answer section, which I will be activating right now. And we can speak those moments up for everyone else to also hear. So maybe people can share with each other and see. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Just leave your comments. Say, this is what I've experienced with I don't care. This is a moment where I've lived I don't care. And we can take a deeper look into those moments for you or with you. So
You know what? You know what's funny, Gian, is in taking on that, like, well, in embodying that point, I don't care. It's not very fun, basically living the I don't care attitude. Like it's not fun at all. And that's kind of the funny thing about it, is that you want to have fun and you think like caring is not going to be fun. You know, not recognizing, or like basically not seeing the not about the fun and the potential fun that you can have with caring. It's like caring is so much fun. It's where the fun is at. And in undoing the knots is what's funny, really, because when we get knotted, like that's like the way out is a laugh and seeing the ridiculousness of the rigmarole of the knot we created as this entanglement. And it's funny because that kind of, it just represents ourself, how we kind of just, you know, tie ourselves up in different ways.
yeah, it's
And,
like
yeah,
torturing ourselves.
self-inflicted.
Just because we believe if we don't feel tortured, that we will not have fun.
And it's so much fun to really care, like, about what people have to say, because it's just awesome. Well, it's just so fun to engage on the conversation, on the points of like, well, you don't know where it's going to go. And it's fun basically when there's another point of conflict that comes up, because it's like, oh, here we go, we got something, like, what do we got here? Because like ultimately what's going to be behind it all is like something that's pretty hilarious. And it's just like, okay, we're detectives on the case.
Yeah.
We got to figure this out. And it's funny because it's like it's the build up before the like aha moment. You know, it's like in a joke before you get to the punchline, where it's the bump or whatever, like the big eruption. And yeah, so it's just like a play till you get there. And I found that just really to embody or embrace yourself here as a detective. You know, it's funny. I just did a hangout the other day about a movie called Existential Detectives. Well, no, the name of the movie was I Heart Huckabees. I did the
Okay, yeah.
DIP. I did the DIP hangout on that. And but yeah, basically it's about existential detectives, and I mean really just relating to that. Everybody is an existential detective, because you know your life is your existence, and all existence is here as in this one life. And so whether you think you're a part of it all or not, you know, you're connected, because we're all in this one life together in so many different ways. And so we're always detectives on the case.
Or a
And if we
term.
don't, yeah, and if we don't know what we're casing or whatnot, it's like we're just in the process of building a case against ourselves
Yeah.
as the war of the world, or the war of our words. And we're not having fun because we're not realizing like we're the detective on the case and we're the source of it all. So it's the fun is here always to be had, and we're it, and we got it.
It's a matter of deciding to participate. It's a matter of deciding.
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah, it's
One step forward out of this current space or place that I'm in. Just gonna take it one step. Once you take
yeah.
that first step, you will realize already within that, you know, there's more in life. And to say I don't care is a big lie to myself. I do care. I mean, look at the world, right? It's
Well,
fucked
that,
up.
yeah,
And
serious
the biggest
consequential.
problem is everybody sits in the mode of I don't care. But you know how much fun we can have if there is
Big time.
10,000 people that is enjoying changing the world. Imagine that, right?
It's so funny because it seemed like like
Yeah.
fuck, like
I mean,
wait, you know, like I don't want to do it.
we can start so many things in this world as lots of people saying, you know what, I do care, and I'm going to change myself, and I'm going to change the world, and I'm going to meet up with people, I'm going to connect with people, I'm going to listen to people, I'm going to explore this beautiful world we have that has been destroyed and been fucked up by so many things, and we're going to change that. You know, there's definitely fun to be had in changing the world. We must just learn to stop saying I don't care and actually start living I care, and this is how we're going to express the care. You know, you don't have to express the care as you've lived it before, as the sad, depressing, annoying, non-ending thing. You know, that's a definition you don't have to live. You can live caring differently, and as a group, we can live that caring differently because we are a group. Humanity is a group, and each one individually cannot change anything. But as long as we sit in those positions of I don't care, we're going to remain by ourselves, and the world is going to look and stay and remain this outlook of being just shit and just being, you know, I don't want to get in there. It's like a pus. So
it's funny. I was just gonna say it's funny because so much so, like if we just even look at what's accepted within the relationship of care, like, you know, commonly, if you will, is that by caring and associating the way you've defined caring as being responsible and it kind of being like warped and twisted, it's like accepting and allowing like a real suppression, like limited amount possible of fun to be had in actually like living these words, where it's seen as like a necessary tax and burden to have on yourself, which really exemplifies the reality that we have here so much.
For example,
so is that
if you look at the global scale of what caring can be defined as, is Mother Teresa. Am I saying her name right?
Yeah.
You know, everyone has seen this woman that has taken care of thousands of poor African kids and poor, you know, it's just helped so many people in the world. And that has been defined as caring in terms of you must do it all alone. You know, no one is going to join you. No one's going to stand up with you because everyone else don't care. So I might as well just also not care and not live as an example as that one person. And the more people that say I do care, the more people can stand together and live those examples that others has lived before them, but together as a group. So this I don't care goes obviously further than just our own realities and our own relationships and our own environments. It goes all the way around the globe. It goes everywhere. And if we all start deciding, you know what, I do care, obviously starting first with ourselves, starting with our environments, and we expand and expand and expand and expand until we can all care together, until we all can be honest and have developed our expression in caring, and we can truly stand together and live a world of care.
And then we can I was gonna say, and then we can carry on and have a good time.
Carry on. Wait, I need to put a beat to that.
Nice. Yeah.
Video, so I have equipment available.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, so there's obviously no questions so far. Let me just see if anything has popped up. Questions? No. Answered questions? No. All right. So, Mike, my nose is so itchy. Is there any last words you would like to give? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, okay, I'll say this to close with here. I mean, I think we could keep carrying on, Gian, because we're having so much fun here. We're having so much fun to care with where we're, you know, with all of this here. I love to carry on my care. I'd just say like that. That's really like the point. Take that point for yourself to be like, you know what? I've decided to care to have fun, and I realize that caring is the starting point of fun. Like they're kind of one and the same here together, and that the work is in the play and carrying on with my work here. yeah, it's like an ongoing song and dance, so much so as just the relationship plays here, and taking accountability by caring about all these things. Then, you know, we're carrying on in our work as our expression of ourself, as like living the work, as working with our world, which is our words, so much so. And so, you know, we can say it so, and care to say it so, and continue to do so until we're all carrying on with the song and dance here together.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Mike McDonald. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
Gian.
and a true care to speak to you today. And for everyone else, if you have any point that you would like to talk about, or if you have any example of your life and your living where you said or lived the words "I don't care," please leave it in the comment box. That's later on the YouTube channel by the video. And then until next time, for G Talks, Gian Robberts here from the Destini Farm and Mike McDonald.
Hey, Gian, before you go, I just want to say, you know, it's been a real pleasure being here with you as well. You're definitely a real character here in this world, and it's been a real treat.
All
And
right.
I really noticed the care in your character here, and it's
All
just
right.
awesome to be on the show.
Cool, Mike. I also noticed the care in your character. See the character.
Awesome.
Our characters must be caring.
The care is everywhere.
Yeah. Wow, we're really going deep into this word. All right, Mike. It's fun speaking to you as always. Till next time. And everyone else that joined, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Destiny out.
Word.